All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. I have a forced restart coming up on this computer, so this will be a 14-minute video or I am screwed. But we will be reviewing the weed stocks, and let's be honest, I feel like it's been the exact same thing across the last few videos. Almost every single one of these is struggling to hold the moving averages. High tide continues to be the outlier, so that's gonna be the continued theme here. But I'll start with TLRY. I want to cover high tide second. I've been grouping CGC, ACB, and Sandal. I'll do that next, and then if I have some time, I'll look at high tide at the end. All right. But before we do go any further, and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we gonna do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here and giving me your time is super appreciated. All right, so TLRY, look, I feel like the story here has been really 3 things. All right, volume is number 1, and volume's just been bad. All right, since I would say this late April, around this 22nd, 21st right here, we've pretty much struggled to hit the 50-day line, except for these little DEA pops. And I say little kind of jokingly, right? But yeah, if it wasn't for those DEA rescheduling headlines, oh man, we're nowhere near that 50-day volume. And volume's king, all right? Volume's queen for my ladies out there. And if no one's coming to buy, nothing's going to happen. You know what I mean? So yeah, volume is just looking rough, all right? The next thing really has been the moving averages. And there's 2 sides to it, all right? You either break all 5 and you fly, or you lose all 5 and you die. And we have been under all 5, I mean, since here, right? Since the 20th of last month, right? So it's getting worrisome. It definitely could be worse. I think that's an easy thing to say. I think it could be so much worse. We've seen faster falls when we lose all the moving averages, and hey, maybe we can argue that it's kind of a good thing that it's holding. To me, the lack of volume and being under all the moving averages is just a real bad combination. All right. This 185 line's doing really well. I remember talking on the last video, maybe I should have lowered it to 180. Nonetheless, right, my lines aren't here for perfect, they're here for good enough. And it's been an important line, all right? This 185's been one for, you know, we struggled here to say the least, but we bounce. We you know, I mean, I'm not doing it justice well, but it's been a good line. It has been a good line, and hey, it's doing its best. But man, I'm seeing this 8 moving average come down. I'm seeing this 20 come down. It kind of seems like the 50 is getting ready to creep down. I'm seeing way more bad than good. MACD is negative. It's not a good RSI. Red over green on both. And again, like I said, that volume is just what's killing it, I think, the most. On the weekly, not too much, really. I mean, volume's been rough, to say the least. Volume's been real rough. And hey, I guess I would rather have dwindling volume than a significant pickup of bad volume. I at least would say that, and I think that's probably what's keeping this from going bad. You know, I guess in some ways maybe it is good, like all these people aren't dumping on the stock, because hey, there really is this, I don't know if something big is about to happen around the corner, right? And this sector's really never had that, so I guess that's somewhat of a good thing. But look, this is it's hard to love the stock right now. I really would not touch this thing under 212. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. We got to get over 212 for me to like this thing. And look at that channel up there, right? I keep saying we cannot come down to 160. I don't even want to talk about what's below that, all right? So kind of a quick run here, but let's be honest, I've kind of been saying the same thing for what feels like a few weeks now, right? So let me know your thoughts. Look, let me know if there's any catalysts or any, oh my gosh. Look, this doesn't say my name anywhere, so I think I'm going to continue recording. I think we're okay there. let me know if there's anything coming up that people are hopeful for. But yeah, it's seeming rough. We need a political headline so badly. There's nothing else that could be said. All right, so let's move into high tide. And high tide continues to be the outlier in the sector. All right, so real quick, if you could subscribe, if you can share, it does wonders. Look, this is over all 5 moving averages as opposed to under them. All right, this thing, this thing on the weekly is well over the 100 and marching its way on up to the 200, which is kind of hidden right there in that resistance line, right? This 254 is no joke, and really I wouldn't even say today broke it. Yes, we're physically over it. We closed at 259, right? But I would want a little bit more of a substantial channel. The one thing I'm gonna say, and I took a pause for a sec, I'm going to come to a stock called Peggy. I guess this one's a little uglier. Look, it's not good when you see a real big wick and all of the candle in the bottom. And that is kind of what we see here. I think the difference was when I look, you can see high tide opens at 254 and closes up here at 259. Not a lot, but it's something, right? With Peggy on that same shape, we actually open up here at 29 and close down here at 26. So this one's a little bit of an uglier version of the high tide candle, but a little bit of a back pocket thing to keep in mind. Just that's not a good candle we like to see. You know, I'm not a candle trader. I generally only talk about the dojis if I'm going to talk about one. This is kind of becoming an important second candle in my eye, and that's actually a type of doji right there. But overall, look, this is looking nice. And one thing I talked about on the last video, that dedicated video, maybe we go over it, come back to it, and then bounce up and go. That's a very real possibility, but I would still say I don't think we've broken this line yet. I need a better candle to believe, but same thing I said on last video, I'm still saying it here. This is the best in the bunch. This is the only one over them all. Positive MACD, good healthy RSI, and volume is not bad. This thing used to just struggle to get over 100K. Used to struggle with it, and now all of a sudden we're basically 5xing that number and holding it. Still under the 50-day average. You know I don't like that. I want to be over the white line, but I think holding this high of volume is a good thing for sure. All right, I talked about the weekly a bit. We're trying to break this line and go here. We're also trying to break the 100 and go to the 200. That's the same here around that 330, right? So a lot to like here, continuing to like it. Just give me a little bit more on that 254 line, all right? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Earnings are next week, I believe, on this one. Clearly, earnings will do a lot to this, all right? So let me know your thoughts. I've only got less than 7 minutes. Let's come into the next bunch. So again, I'm going to group CGC, ACB, and SNDL all in the same chapter. And if you saw the connection before I said it, I love it. If you didn't, we're battling the 50 moving average. That's the story here. You can see SNDL is physically under it. You can see that CGC is physically under it. I think ACB was on it. Nope, also physically under it. So all 3 of these have been battling with the 50 moving average the last few videos. You can see all 3 of them have slipped, all right? We talked about the CGC earnings. I was not a fan of them. I think a lot of others weren't. I don't think that's anything like spectacular that I'm saying. Earnings per share was a hard miss, and the revenue beat just wasn't enough to offset that. And, you know, one thing I said was it wasn't as ugly an earnings reaction, but I think we still see the follow through from it, right? And it's not quite super confirmed, right? We lose this 50. Yes, we physically have been under it since what, 1, 2, 3. I mean, I'm not going to count them all, but none of these are a crazy back-to-back confirmation, right? So I'm kind of keeping that in my back pocket, but yeah, I think it seems more realistic to me that we come down to 650 than we recover to like 920. All right, I think CGC needs to get into that like 925, 930 range before I would really touch this thing. Otherwise, like I said, it seems like it's going to want to come to 650. ACB, kind of the same thoughts, right? It feels like two things. Number one, same, no confirmation. There is no two big candles back to back that makes me say, oh yeah, for sure, for sure. That said, I feel like coming down to 515 makes more sense than coming at like 675. Honestly, I don't think I would touch. Let me lower it to here. No, that's too low. Here, 722. If this can get into that 723, 725 range, I think I'd be a little more interested in ACB. Otherwise, like I said, it really seems like this is coming down to 515. SNDL. I thought SNDL was supposed to have earnings either today, tomorrow, or sometime soon. Did it already happen? I'm not seeing a date, and apologies for that. I did see a headline today about expecting to ship in the second half of this year. That's cool. I like that, actually. That's good guidance. It's guidance that's connected to the number 3 economy in the world that just legalized. And in some ways, you can say it could be a good thing to wait. You're going to see a good amount of the actual sell through, the actual numbers. You're going to see if people have too much inventory. You're going to see what the market looks like, and then you ship. That's not a bad thing. You might be able to take advantage of having some good facts right there. But right now, it's just guidance, right? We need to have them actually ship, and then it actually matters less about them shipping, and it matters more who's buying what. Right? So just kind of keep that in mind. All right. But yeah, let me know about the earnings. I will say this. I think this has a better shot of recovery. I think this needs to immediately get back over 225. If this can get back over 225, I think I'll be a little more comfortable with SNDL than the last two. If we fall into this like $2 range, if we fall to $2, I'm for sure believing we're going to come into 180 or lower. All right, so this is just sitting a little bit better with the 50 moving average. This has only been a couple candles below it. There's also a little bit of a support line that I drew here. So this is a must save tomorrow. Must save tomorrow. Otherwise, it's not looking the prettiest. All right, so sorry I couldn't cover MSOS. I got to take care of some computer stuff. I will cover these shortly. Hey, thank you for your time. Thank you.